All right. Hi, guys. It's Sexy Max with Damien and Luke and Baconator for the Luke and Damien show. And we're going to be interviewing Buchan because he threw an amazing no-hitter. Better than Luke's perfect game.
Bullshit.
All right. So, Bacon, can I ask what happened? What mental thing happened for you to just go out there and pitch a great game?
Basically, I was on the mound, was giving my team and myself a pep talk, and I was like, "We're gonna fucking shit on these teams," and we did. That's kind of my whole mindset through the whole game. I was purely focused on domination and making everyone feel inferior to me on the other team, and I definitely accomplished that with multiple strikeouts and obviously no hitter.
Damien?
All right, yeah, I have a question. How do you feel about making the GM of the Chiefs, Cams, after destroying them in the 2 games, quit and join the Bandits? How does that make you feel, especially since you were the main guy in the performance?
I feel great. I actually planned it from the very beginning. Came to talk to me. He was questioning his him being a manager, and I was like, this game, if I could absolutely dominate his team, he might leave and come back to us. And after the game, we talked. He kind of realized that I gave him the opportunity to manage the Chiefs in the first place, which I think ultimately enforced his decision to, come right back to me, as well as getting a no hit. I think he was just done with his team at that point.
I have a question. Do you think, with the addition of Cams on the Bandits, do you think that can bring you over the Diamonds?
See, no, we played Diamonds. We played the Diamonds in week 6. None of our games that we played had our full lineup, except for that last one. We always been out 1-2 players, and in the playoffs we have our full lineup, and then adding Kims to it. I think we should have a good chance at being able to make it to the World Series, being the Diamonds.
Counter argument. Cam's fucking sucks.
Real shit. Real shit.
Well, all I have to add to this is saying, me and Damien came together and decided that he was better than you, so that's why we traded for him in the first place. So, I suggest you shut your mouth.
Pardon.
Yep.
Pardon.
I will say Cams does have a 260 OPS plus, which is 160%.
He does have that dog in him. He does have that dog in him.
Yeah. Also,
I
I want to ask a question. I mean, I know most of the answer. I know mostly the answer to it, but since what would you describe this season so far for the Bandits? Because at the start it was a huge high trading for AJ and Cherry. And then at the middle of the season so far where we're at, we've lost Sexy, Dom, Pepsi, AJ. I just want how would you describe this season so far?
Well, first week of the season, right after the draft, I skimmed the young wizard. Got Liam for, pretty much 2 okay players. Splatter, he's on the team now. He was really good. And, that trade with him and Commander for Cherry and AJ was, that was a good trade until AJ decided to fuck me over and just retire out of the blue. So, but yeah, with the additions we've had, Jack's signing of him, giving up nothing and getting him for free, kind of has filled AJ's spot as a pitcher, especially as a hitter as well. Pepsi, Dom, in his last few weeks, he wasn't as much of an asset to the team as as we kind of really needed him to be. I had no problem letting him go, as well as Aqua, and they didn't really bring too much to the table, which, was people finding me letting him go. Getting rid of Pepsi for Mr. Moon, could be good, could be bad in a way. Mr. Moon's really started to shine recently, show out that all-star potential. I just think, I think the second half of the season is a lot more interesting than the first. Figuring out where we're going to finish. What team we're going to finalize the regular season with, and how we're gonna go into the playoffs against the Diamonds.
Yeah, and with the possible addition of MLB Mike, which is still undecided as of this recording, we don't know. We have no clue where this roller coaster will end.
Yeah, I mean, if he does stay, it's not too big of a deal. We'd love to have him. He might be able to push us over the edge and give us the huge extra push we need to beat the Diamonds. But hey, if we can't get him, better than him going to the Diamonds, to be honest.
Future Diamond.
Oh man.
It's kind of all I gotta say. If he comes to us, then might be over for the Diamonds and the rest of the league.
All right, I have 2 questions. First question: how do you feel about the only reason I'm not a Bandit is because Damien had an Astro profile picture? How do you feel about that?
Some days I go to sleep thinking about it, and the tears stream out of my eyes.
If that's a great reason,
thinking about the opportunities we could have had if you had been a Bandit.
Damien sucks as a player.
Every day in the back of my mind before I go to sleep, there's this tiny part of me that wishes Damien was never an Astros fan.
Yeah, Damien.
I wish that they, they actually sucked, so he wouldn't have to like that shitty ass team.
Real shit.
Yeah, Damien. Yeah, you kind of cost us the World Series, bud. And also, not to mention that the fucking pedophile traded you and another one of
Enzo for a bag of chips.
Enzo for Pepsi, who has gone 1 for 8.
Yeah, 1 for 8 in the last game.
Damn.
And also, you said you were willing to give away Aqua, but his latest game, he went 5 for 4 with 3 home runs. How do you feel about that? You still thinking
what I have to say here might be pretty controversial, but to be honest, he told me he sucked. He told me he wasn't any good anymore. He told me he wasn't gonna play well anymore. He didn't want to play well, and that kind of also resulted in him being cut. Like I said earlier, him bringing nothing to the table was kind of exactly what he told me. He said he wasn't any good anymore. He kind of struggled all the time. And I honestly think that might have been just an excuse to get himself cut, go back to his previous manager, Darkside, join the team he was on to win the World Series last year. But
it does look like he's heating up.
Yeah, the games he played for us, he got 1 hit out of 10 at bats maybe, and it's hard to tell. There's nothing you can tell for sure. Just seems a bit off to me how he's just super good once he joins the team he wants. But that's all I gotta say.
I have another question about just about roster construction in general, since the team, the Bandits have been labeled a super team, but with the recent performances outside of the Chiefs game, outside of the Chiefs series, how do you feel about that label, and how do you feel what additions do you think will be that should be added to withstand that label if needed?
Yeah, with us being labeled a super team, honestly, we could be almost the furthest thing from it. Super team, you gotta have the players and you gotta have the chemistry. That's what the Diamonds have at this point, I believe, which makes them so good. Our team, we've had multiple players, not like their placement in a team. That kind of resulted in 3 people getting released: Aquadom and Pepsi. They've all had problems with people on the team. The chemistry just wasn't there, and I think it's not here even more now than it was earlier in the season. I think we have the skill, we have the talent. We just don't have that team bonding that we kind of really need in order to overcome any of our opponents.
Do you think this team chemistry is on a decline, or is it starting to level out?
It's honestly hard to say. I got a few players right now that are not happy with each other. I'm doing my best to resolve that because when playoff comes around, if we're not at our best, if we're not talking with each other, we're not being compatible with each other in game, and on and off the field. It's not going to be good for us in playoffs, and we might just get ourselves embarrassed if it keeps up like the way things are right now.
And do you? I know you already said that you're trying to do, but is there anything that you're doing right now to fix this problem?
I don't want to disclose too much information. Trying to keep some of that, stuff personal to me and those few players. But I'm trying a few things. It's mostly just them two, them three. I don't know. There's a few group of people that struggle. I'm just working with them individually, trying to get them to overcome their problems in order to become better teammates to each other.
I also want to bring up the fact that since some people you are a Yankee fan, and I want to mention the fact that you are a known IKF supporter. What made you an IKF supporter?
No comment.
It was Barry Bonds.
Well, that's all I
Oh.
have.
IKF for the Angels.
Good.
Well, that's all I have. And Luke, Sexy, what about y'all?
That's all I got.
Well,
That's it.
Baconator, I think this interview's over. Buchan.
You think
All right.
so?
Yeah, right.
All right, guess so. Thank you all for joining us on this post-game interview with Baconator. Tune in next time to hopefully see another post-game interview. Thank y'all.